Hey everybody, and welcome back to Fresh Set. I'm Sabrina,
And I'm Kevin.
and it's an off week, so we decided we're going to do a fun episode, a little bit of a game. But
Yeah.
before we get into all that, just a reminder to go on social media, go and like, subscribe, share, follow, comment, all of the things on our social media at Fresh Set Podcast, and then wherever you get your podcasts, and YouTube also at Fresh Set Podcast. Share all those things, and yeah, it really helps us out.
Yep.
So I just realized we're both wearing black today.
I'm wearing my Fresh Set.
I'm wearing Imperial beer.
Okay.
Anyways, so just so everybody knows, we are filming this before any sort of news drops randomly. If there's any sort of rumor control other than Christian Horner being fired, this was filmed before. So, but we just wanted to play a little bit of a game. We haven't done a game this season
In a
yet,
long...
have we?
No.
Or it's not really a
not
game.
really. Not really a game. It's just, well, spoiler alert, it's our mid-season rankings. We're just going to have some fun and see where we place everybody from what we've seen in our opinions over the last 12 races. Yeah, we're at the halfway point now.
Yeah. So we're going to jump right into it. We're going to go from ranking number 1 to 20 of our drivers. I think our top 5 is probably going to be pretty similar. And then it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting where we see people further back.
Yeah.
But I will let you go first.
Okay, well, I mean, my first is obviously gonna be Oscar. I mean, how is it not? I mean, he's winning not just because he's winning the championship, and aside from his little meltdown at the last one
last week,
he's just been the best driver in the grid. What can you say? I mean, he's been tenacious. He's never gotten down. He's not going to give up spaces unless he has to. I like his driving style. It's worked for him so far. I think, other than unless this last mental collapse is going to do him in for the season, I think it's almost guaranteed, unless somebody takes him out, that he's going to win the championship. I mean, I know they're close, but I think he has the edge over Lando.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I also had Oscar as the number 1. I think right now he is just the number 1 driver on the grid. It's just as simple as that, really. I mean, you said everything else.
Sorry.
But yeah, I mean, I think, we saw him a little bit getting his elbows out last year, but we're seeing elbows out, foot to the ground. Like he's just driving. And even when he's not in pole position, we're seeing him take those risky lunges that, hate to say it and compare, but even someone like Lando that has maybe 3 more years ahead of him in Formula 1, 2 or 3 more years, is not making those lunges. So
that's basically championship driving.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. Yeah. Okay,
you
so
go,
we
so
both
I don't
have
steal
Oscar.
Your points. Yeah.
I just talked about him. I have Lando, actually.
I do too.
Okay. Well, there we go. I have Lando. This is probably his best season of driving. Is he still struggling a little bit and not making those moves that I just said that he should be making at this point? Yeah, he's still driving a little bit cautious. I don't know who we are to say that he's driving cautious, but I do still think we are seeing a different Lando, and maybe into that, like, maybe he's figuring it out. But I mean, he's obviously won the most races behind Oscar. I think it's an obvious two for them.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think maybe not necessarily cautiousness, but I think you're seeing some indecisiveness sometimes when he's out on track, which kind of makes or breaks his race.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so I think unless he has, we kind of see it where we don't. If he doesn't have like a perfect race, he struggles a little bit,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so I think that's where Piastri kind of edges him out for me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of not having a perfect race, I have Max
me too.
in third. That's why I said our top five is going to be pretty similar. I
Yeah, we'll
have
see it
Max.
probably.
I have Max in third, and again, we know how Max drives, so it's easy to put him in number one. But I just think those two are just edging him out a little bit more this season. Does
Yeah.
it have to do with the car? Yeah, probably. But even though we know he can do it, I obviously couldn't put him in number one. I mean, if that was the case, you'd put like Lewis and Alonso in number one and two. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
Just from what we've seen, I would say I have Max in third.
Yeah. I mean, he's driving the hell out of a car that's seemingly undrivable. So, I
Yeah.
mean, if it was a little bit quicker, he'd probably be right up there with Oscar.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but he'd be a lot closer than he is right now. He wouldn't be so close to having George right behind him, is it?
Yeah.
So I think I mean, he's Max being Max. He is
Yeah.
a four-time world champion driving the hell out of a car that really has no business to be. I mean, if it's not for him, they're not even in, what are they, fourth? So, and then,
Something like that.
I think they're in fourth. So yeah, if it's not for him, they're not there. So
Yeah.
that alone just gets him into third.
Yeah, I agree. Fourth.
I've got Russell.
Ooh, I have Kimmy.
You have Kimmy. Oh, you put Kimmy
I have, yeah, I did. And the only reason I did that was because I don't see George driving any differently. And you have this young 18-year-old in the car that is, yeah, he's had some bad weekends, but even when he's starting a little bit further back, he is not afraid to fight an Alonso. He's not afraid to go up against the Hulkenberg. Anybody, like he's Lewis. He's been fighting with Lewis. And yeah, so I had him a little, that was a toss up for me, but yeah.
I get that. And I can agree with it, but I just don't put him on that same level. I agree with both of it.
Yeah.
But I think just for me, George has just been that driver that's been I mean, other than Oscar or Orlando, has been even more so than Max. Has just been the most consistent. He's just consistently putting up points. He's consistently getting that car where it needs to be. It could be a little bit better, but that's just the limitations of the car versus the McLarens. It is what it is. But
yeah.
If you're not hearing your name so much, other than unless it's a win, you're not doing a bad thing. Like, you know what I mean? So it's not like he's doing anything bad, anything wrong. He's had things done to himself.
Right.
But he is consistently putting up those points and leading the team. Much as I don't see him as a leader, he is doing that. And so that's where I see him, where you kind of see the difference between Russell being the veteran and Kimi being the rookie and kind of making a couple of rookie mistakes. When it comes just to pure driving, that's where I had him a little bit higher.
A little bit higher, yeah. All right, 6. I think this is where we're gonna go a little sideways. Oh, well, I had George in 5th. Sorry.
Oh, so I didn't. I had Leclerc in 5th.
Oh, you
So I had Leclerc in 5th. And kind of the same reason. I mean, he's had some struggles. I don't think it's struggles hit with his own struggles. I think it's more so car struggles and it's Ferrari struggles and it's engineering struggles and it's pit wall struggles and it's water issues.
So, never met a person with so many water issues.
Yeah. So I don't think it's I taking it on just his driving and his personal kind of just performance. I think he to me he's that right behind Russell.
Yeah. So you have George.
Then I have 4th. Kimi in 6th.
Okay, so you have George 4th, Charles 5th, Kimi 6th. Okay, so I have Kimi, George in 5th, and I have Charles in 6th.
Well, so we're pretty close there.
Yeah, that's why I said I think it's a little bit of the obvious ones, but there's reasons that you can't just pick somebody because they're a 4-time champion or they're a 7-time
Yeah.
champion. It really is what's going on right now, and I think Charles has had what, two or three podiums
I think it's two.
this year, and but he's consistently been in that fourth or fifth place, which is
Yeah.
obviously annoying for him. But yeah, I think he's the one that's probably pulling a little bit more out of the Ferrari. That I don't know what they're.
Clearly.
Yeah, it's just like wringing
Well,
the towel at that point. At this point,
so
but
much so that that Lewis is doing testing this weekend to try and work
uh-huh.
out some kinks.
Yeah, I mean it's a bit of a disaster.
Yeah.
But how many years in a row can it be a disaster at Ferrari before
Clearly quite a
it's
few.
yeah, before it's not a disaster
Yeah.
anymore? Okay, so you had Kimi in sixth.
Yeah, I had Kimmy in sixth.
You had
So
Kimi in
same,
sixth. Yeah.
kind of the same thing you were saying, except he's had a few more rookie struggles, and that's just kind of
Yeah.
where I dropped there. I agree. He's driving the hell out of that car,
Yeah.
and he's doing things that most people wouldn't be able to do in that car,
Yeah.
or at least the rookies.
Yeah.
So I think he's a talent. He's going to be a future champion. I think that's clear. Um, it's just those couple mistakes versus George's consistency. That's the only reason why it switched for me.
Yeah. Fair. Valid. Seventh.
Yeah, mine's way off here.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh. I have Lewis.
I I have Lewis in eighth.
Oh. Oh.
I
Okay. So
have
hold on. Hold on. Who do you have in? You have Albon.
I don't actually. I
Oh,
don't.
okay. Okay, I'll let you go then.
Clearly, I forgot about Albon on this
Oh,
list.
Jesus.
I knew I was missing somebody. I didn't look like 20, or 21, 20. Um, no, I have Hadjar. I've been
Oh,
really impressed with Hadjar. I've been much more impressed with Hadjar than I have with Lewis.
right.
He's taking a Racing Bulls. He's racing really well in that. He
Yeah.
outraced both his teammates this year. And he's again put consistent effort, consistent results into a car that has no business being where it should have been, or at least we think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and you're kind of seeing that those kind of flashes of brilliance a little bit, right? And why he was so good in F2 and why it's translating to F1 now.
Yeah.
And so he's more so the first probably 8 or 9 races than the last few.
Couple. Yeah.
Yeah. But otherwise, yeah, he's really impressed me this year.
Yeah. He's got a really good qualifying. It doesn't always translate to the race, but his qualifying this season
Yeah.
has been great. I mean, he had that one DNF, wasn't his fault, first race of the year, but ever since then, the bounce back was incredible. So, so you have him in seventh. I had, like I said, I had Lewis seventh for the 7-time champion. I just he's there. He's racing. But he is getting beat by the Kimmies. And again, this could go back to the car. This goes back to Ferrari. It's not that all of a sudden Lewis can't drive, but he is just, we're not seeing a lot of fight. And even when we do see him in a battle, we're usually watching the other person. It's like George coming up behind Lewis and about to,
Yeah.
Overtake. He's kind of been running races on his own. Like I've said it numerous times, like he's been finishing fifth or sixth, but he's behind by 20 seconds and ahead by 20 seconds. So
Yeah.
he's really running his own race. He's not, other than the sprint, which he won in Miami, we haven't seen Lewis do too much. But I mean, he's still gathering those points here and there.
Yeah, but that sprint in Miami, had it been 60 laps instead of 19,
Yeah.
it's
Wouldn't
again
have
he's great.
lasted.
He's great in the sprint, but as soon as you get into later on and his tires start going and he's finding it hard to turn or whatever.
Yeah.
It feels like it was in 2022, 2023. Where the car is just undrivable and he kind of, I don't want to say gives up. I think he's giving more of an effort this year than he did
Yeah.
at Mercedes.
Yeah.
I'll give him that much. However, it doesn't seem like he has the same amount of fight.
No, definitely not. And that's what I mean is like there's times that we're watching Lewis in a battle, but we're not watching Lewis. We're watching the other
Yeah.
party. Unless it's like, a scenario where I think we've had a couple of times where maybe he goes into the pit and he comes out in like 16th and then you see him kind of fight through the pack a little bit. Okay, great. Yeah, we're watching there. But when we've seen him higher up, it's really been more of like the teammates side by side. They're going to come together. Are they close? Let somebody by. Like we're watching the other driver, which is really sad to say, but
yeah.
And I'm gonna get a lot of heat for that, but it's fine.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So you had my 8.
Okay.
Which was Lewis.
Yeah. I had Isaac. So we're pretty close. I had Hadjar.
We're pretty close. Okay, there we go.
I had Hadjar in 8th. And pretty much what you're saying. He has been, other than Kimi, I think he's been a standout. And it's a quiet standout because you're watching the race happen and then all of a sudden everybody's in the pits and you kind of just like glance over at positioning and you're like, oh, Hadjar's in 6th. Like, like he's just kind of doing it and you're not really, it's not that we're not hearing his name, but he's just quietly making his way up. He's qualifying, getting into Q3s.
Getting
points. I think I mean, Kimi's in a Mercedes. He should be kind of where Kimi is. Isaac in a car that nobody else can seem to drive, which is the Racing Bulls, or hasn't been able to. Daniel Ricciardo couldn't pull anything out of it last year. So I think, he's doing really well for the car he has and his age too. I mean, he's not that young, but young enough.
Okay. So because you reminded me that I forgot Albon, I will slot in Albon here because there's no way I could put Albon below who I have next. But so I will put. That's actually I forgot both of them. So I didn't forget. You gotta have signs in here. How did I miss all these people? I knew it was missing a team. I knew.
There's 20 drivers.
I know. I went through my head, and then clearly I miscounted. But either way, I'm gonna go with Alex Albon.
Okay.
Easy to put him ahead of his home teammate, who I also forgot, because as good as Carlos looked at the beginning of the season and in testing, kind of fell off to nowhere essentially this season. He's had a string of bad luck at times, but aside from that, when he doesn't have that bad luck, he hasn't been overly memorable, is what I'll say. So, but when you come to Albon, I mean, he's the one who is carrying this team, right? He's taking what James is trying to put forth, and the team's trying to put forth, and he's rolling with it, and it seems to be working, and he seems to be the driver that they expected him to be once they actually started having a car that could race.
Move. Yeah. I have Alex there as well. I think in 9th. I think similar to what you're saying, he's the better driver right now in those two cars.
Yes. Yeah.
He's come alive with his fighting, I think. The moves made in Monaco. Just like forget the chicane. Like we're just going for it. I think he's proving we're seeing that vicious side of him and not just letting people by anymore. Again, because it is a car that they have seen, it's turning on. So,
and he had my favorite overtake, which was not voted as best overtake. I don't understand. There was like a couple weeks ago, they had F1 had a best overtake vote, and the one where he splits the two cars in.
Yeah.
I forget where it was, but he splits the two cars and gets in between and gets right there. I don't know how that did not win best overtake, but that is my favorite overtake so far.
Yeah. Weird. Number 10.
So I am not going to put signs here, even though I forgot. I'm going to throw them a little bit further down. I had Ocon. It killed me to put him this high.
Yeah.
But kind of similar for the same reason. He's kind of just been putting his head down, getting to work. He hasn't been the Ocon of old, which annoyed the shit out of me. So it's
Yeah.
just he's just been putting his head down. He's been racing. He's been doing pretty well, that Haas. I'll
Yeah.
give him
Yeah.
that. And so I had to put him. I had to put him higher. There's no way I could put him below any of the ones I had here.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I tried. I couldn't justify
I tried.
it.
I okay, I have Ocon a little bit further down. But I actually, and it's not solely because of the last race, but I have Nico. I have Nico Hulkenberg in 10th.
It is solely because of the last race.
It's not
Because
because
I
of the
wanted to
last
put
race.
Nico higher than this too, and I did not.
So I had him in 10th. I was, he's been in cars for the last 5 years, 6 years that have done nothing. Even last year, he was in the same car. It did absolutely nothing. Earlier on in this season, he's been getting those little points here and there, and those matter. And I just, obviously, British Grand Prix, he got third out of nowhere, but we're getting to see Nico Hulkenberg on the main feed. And you're hearing his voice or hearing his name a lot more. You're seeing the car, which is a good thing for the car as well. Or the team, I should say. But yeah, we're finally getting to see the Nico Hulkenberg of the Renault era.
Nico Hulkenberg.
Yeah. So yeah, I had to give him a 10th, and then there was just yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I'm not going to disagree. Well, I'll disagree with you, obviously. But,
yeah. Obviously,
it's your opinion. It's your opinion.
Yeah. It's wrong.
So
but...
yes, it's wrong, but it's your opinion.
Yeah,
that's okay. So I'm going to 11th. I will put in Nico's teammate Bortoleto. Now again, we're basing this on this year's.
Okay. Yeah.
This year's performances, and
okay.
I think Bortoleto, for being in the worst car on the grid, has put in some good work. Now again, he's mostly in the back. He's shown some flashes of brilliance. We saw a couple of his last couple of weeks where he did well last week. The week before that, he had a great weekend.
Got some points.
Got some points, right? Stakes first points.
Yeah.
We had the unfortunate moment where Jack Doohan took him out last year out of nowhere, or not last year, earlier in the year. Yeah. And so I just think his driving has been. You can kind of see that if you put him in a better car, you give him some better machinery, that he will be a fighter. He will be in the top 10.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where it's just more so based on, I know he hasn't gotten points, but on his performance personally, for me, he has been somebody that I've enjoyed watching.
Yeah. Yeah. And I kind of the same. I obviously have him a little bit further down, but same reasoning, slightly. I have Pierre Gasly in 11th because, he had these years of not finishing in the top 10, not qualifying in the top 10. And we're seeing him at one point, I think in 2 races ago, he was in 4th, driving in 4th. And I think he finished in 4th. So that his specifically Alpine has turned on and they figured out that car. And I just think he's been driving what he needs to drive, pulling some stuff out of the car that is not a great car and the other car is not doing well. So yeah, I think a lot of these guys that have been, I mean, obviously we've got the rookies, but a lot of the drivers that have been on the grid for a couple of years have finally just shut up, put their head down. They're just driving and it's working. Now it's actually working. We're actually seeing, okay, yes, there's been teammate changes and maybe that had to do with both Pierre and Esteban. They were teammates and weren't doing so well. And now they're both kind of doing pretty good on separate teams.
It's almost like they matured.
Almost like the frontal lobe has
developed,
matured. Yeah. Okay. So 12th.
Go ahead.
I have Carlos, and pretty much for the reasons that you were saying before. He is supposed to be, on paper, the better driver. He was supposed to be brought to Williams to be this behind the scenes, fix the car, fix the team guy. We haven't seen that. Still love the guy, but we just, and he's driving what he can. You mentioned it. He's had a lot of bad luck. And it really is bad luck. His brakes are getting on fire. His car won't start. His car is stuck in a gear. Someone runs into him. Like, he's had a lot of bad luck.
Yeah.
But which is not allowing us to see the brilliance of what we were seeing at Ferrari.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I would agree with that. I'll slot him in there since I've got him off my list, but I'm going to slot him there in that same spot. Just because when you do see him do well, when you do see him qualify, he's in the mix. I mean, he's not.
Yeah.
He's never going to be at the top unless it's like the first session. But we've seen him top the times in FP1 or FP2 or FP3.
Yeah.
We've seen him, be in that mid to bottom top 10. We've seen him fight for Q1s. And when he's in the race, he looks like Carlos. It's just
he's scrappy.
Again, he's scrappy. He's not giving up that position. He's going to fight you to the end. And it's just like we said, he's had some bad luck. He's had some engine problems. Been the victim of certain damages that were not his fault. So I would, from what we've seen, it's fair to slot him behind.
I mean,
for me,
I think it was the British Grand Prix that we saw him and Charles side by side of them going at it. But I mean, Charles' car is not really moving either, so it's kind of like. But again, you saw that glimpse of when they were teammates, of like the battling of switching for the inside and outside. But yeah, it's just, you can't have just one or two moments. It's got to be
consistent.
Yeah. So lucky number 13, I have Ollie Bierman.
Put Ollie up there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Which makes it sound like you have Ollie quite low.
I had him lower. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, quite a few lower than that.
Okay. So I have him. He has also been just bad luck in some of these races. He's getting clipped by somebody, like an accident that somebody doesn't even hit him, but he, like, a car that got hits him.
Yeah.
He's been qualifying well. His upgrades that he's gotten to his car have worked, and it's just timing line. Yellow flags have gotten in the way of his qualifying, and then he just kind of gets stuck in that DRS train that anybody really can get stuck in. That Lewis has been stuck in like a DRS train at the back of the grid, and it's just impossible. So but I think he had a good showing when he first took over for Carlos, and I don't think he ever really went backwards. He's always been slowly inching up, and just general. That's why I kind of kept him in the middle there.
Yeah. This one I had Gasly. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had Gasly here. Again, like a lot of what you said, he's been racing. He's been racing clean. He's been racing well. Not so hot-headed as he used to be, even though he was the more level of most of his teammates. We see in the rain consistently that he is a great driver in the rain, and then he just thrives in those conditions. What was it? It was not Brit. Was it Brittany? Was it British Grand Prix?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
That's when they had rain.
He kind of just has these little moments of brilliance in a car and a team that seems to just be imploding. And it's just a shit show, and he just bears down and he gets it done. So I can imagine the pressure of doing that in a regular situation, the pressure to do that when everything around you was chaos, and to come out the way he's doing it, it's impressive. And so that's where I had him.
And get a few points, which he's been getting points here and there. So So.
Well, he's been in semi-consistently in Q1, Q2, even starting in the top 10.
Yeah. So 14th, this is where I had Bortoletto. The beginning of the season, slow start for him, slow start for Stake. Hulk was kind of showing that gap difference between, which is a veteran and a rookie, like 15 years versus 1 year. So, or, at that point, 6 races in versus 15 years. So, but the last little bit, we're really seeing what he can do, getting into Q2s, which he wasn't before. He's not starting 19th and 20th like he used to be. He's starting in that 16, 15, 14 region. So yeah, I just think slow and steady.
Yeah, there's been consistent improvement.
Yeah.
The next two, I don't really care to rank one or the other ahead of the other, so I'm just going to put both Aston Martin drivers here. Where are we on? 14? No, 14,
14,
right?
yeah.
So 14, so 14 and 15. I'll just do both. They're both there. They're neither here nor there for me. The both of them, like, it's not like one edges out the other. We've seen Stroll have some great races this year. Decent races this year. We haven't seen the comical meme Stroll as much as we have in the past.
No.
So that's been an improvement. And then Alonso is just the victim of a car that doesn't want to go.
Yeah.
He's still got that passion. He's still got that fight. And I wish I could have put him higher than that. They've gotten points. They've got 70 points, 80 points now. So they're consistently.
I don't know where or when. But
they're consistently in that 7, 8, 9, 6 spot, right?
Yeah.
Somewhere between 6 and 10, and
it's
at least
just not
one
memorable. So I'm like, how are you at 70?
That's the thing. That's why I had to give it to them, and I don't really care which one goes ahead of the other because they're all consistently between that 6 and 10 every race, and whether it's one or the other, right? And they're consistently getting points. So I'll give them that. It's just like we're thinking about, they're going to 22 cars on the grid next year, and it's almost like we have 18 on the grid this year. So
honestly. So I actually have Ocon in 15th. Which that's where you had 14 and 15. That's the Aston Martins, but I had Ocon in 15th. Yes, he's a different Ocon. It's the car that he's dealing with. But yeah, I think good driving. I just couldn't really put him any higher than that. But
I know what you're going through. I tried to put him lower, but
I tried. And then I have pretty much the exact same thing for you as the Aston Martins, but I just had them in 16th and 17th. I did have Stroll higher.
I did put Stroll higher.
That was just a toss up. It, like you said, it really doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter which
the only thing that made me put Alonso lower was he's the veteran. Should be the one putting a little bit more, which I think he actually is, but it's just like, why haven't we figured this out yet?
Yeah.
So, and Stroll has had quite a few good races where we're not really seeing it, but like you said, he's finishing 8th. And he has consistently been finishing ahead of Alonso. So whether even if it's 12th and 13th, he's the one ahead. So, but this really could have gone either way for 16 and 17 for me.
It really just depends on how much Lawrence Stroll's paying us.
Exactly. Exactly. If that's the case, they could be 1 and 2. If he wants to pay it. But
so my 16, and this is where 15, 16, 17. Where are we now? Either way.
You should be 16.
16.
16, yeah.
Yeah, there we are. Is Hulk.
Okay.
I want to put him higher. I did. So, but I felt like it was a little bit of a recency bias. So,
yeah.
I mean, no, I don't want to FaceTime with you. So I lost all train of thought here. Yeah. I mean, I think Hulk getting 3rd place this year is probably going to be in my top 3 moments of the year.
Probably, yeah.
I think that's a fair bet, if not 1 or 2, for me. Other than that, not. I mean, consistently being mediocre, and that's not
Yeah.
his fault. That's the car's fault.
Yeah.
I think he's been a great mentor for Bortoleto.
Yeah.
Um, so
Who's
I
not?
think,
Yeah.
yeah, who's a lot higher than I had him, or
Yeah.
than I had his teammate. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just there was really not much until last weekend.
Yeah. I
And then he
you
was
could
consistently ahead of his teammate
yeah.
ish most weekends, at
Yeah.
least in the beginning.
Yeah. He you could see just like you said how much he's been there and helped Bortoleto. You could see that last weekend when he I was gonna say when he won, but when he got third
That's a win.
and Gabriel went running. He's not even out of the car. Like he hasn't even taken
Yeah,
off his headset, the cushion behind him. And Bortoletto's just there waiting for him and is just like so excited. He got on the radio with him while he was still
yeah,
doing the cool down lap. So that I mean that shows a lot. Um, so definitely, but yeah.
yeah.
And then you're 17 since I had 16 and 17.
My 17 is going to be Behrman here. I couldn't put him ahead of the other last three, so
Well, we've got the
like you
same
said, but
last
like
three.
like you said, like he's qualified pretty well
Yeah,
for being that Haas. He's really been giving the fight to at least that midfield pack
yeah,
when it comes to the races. He's done well, consistently well. There have been a couple of rookie slip ups, but probably the least amount of all the rookies, if I'm remembering correctly,
yeah,
um, other than maybe Hadjar. Hadjar at
yeah,
the beginning of the season, and that was it. I think they've been the top two rookies for me
yeah,
in terms of just pure driving,
yeah.
right? So yeah, I think it's just. I mean, I would like to have put him higher. I just didn't know that I could really with everybody else that's ahead. I'm maybe
Well,
ahead of the Aston
you were also
Martins.
missing like four drivers. So
No, I missed two. I missed two, and they were the Williams, and there was no way he was going to be ahead of the Williams.
yeah, okay, fair, fair. All right. Well, this leaves 18, 19, and 20, and we have not
The
said the
same.
exact. So we have the same three in these last here. So it's
I wonder how this is
Yuki,
going to go. I'm pretty
Liam.
sure our 20 is going to be the same.
Okay, so it's Yuki, Liam, and Franco that are left.
Yeah,
20 for me is Franco.
yeah, 100%.
Okay, so and I'm
Yeah.
gonna say 20
There's
for this reason of he was brilliant last year. Everybody
yeah,
was pissed that nobody gave him a seat. He came into this year and we've got nothing.
yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
There's been a lot to be desired, a lot left to be desired here
Yeah,
with Colapinto versus last year.
yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, he was the cause of a couple of crashes in
Yes,
an
he was.
Alpine.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know what changed. I don't know if it's
yeah.
the pressure from Briatore
I
that's changed him, or
I think
or the
so.
fact that he's been given this 5 race contract that everybody keeps talking about,
Yeah,
which is gone and past. But it's just not the same, and it's
no.
just you thought he was going to come in and completely. I wouldn't say dominate. Dead especially dominate the rookies, I would think.
Yeah,
And then be closer to his teammate than Jack was, and
nothing.
it's just nothing,
Nothing.
nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Like
And yeah,
worse than the stakes, and
yeah.
it's not saying a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would totally agree. We haven't seen anything from him. And then 18, 19. So this is Liam and
I have
Yuki.
yeah, I have a feeling we have the same one too.
I have Yuki in 18th
Oh, I have Liam in 18th
and Liam in 19th. So I
and
did
Yuki in 19th.
originally, or
Okay,
yeah, sorry.
yeah, okay, you're talking about
Um,
yourself. Yeah,
yeah, so I originally had it the other way. So I had Liam 18th, Yuki 19th. And then I was like, kind of the same with Liam in the sense that we have seen spatterings of Liam for a couple of years now. He took over for Daniel Ricciardo for a few races due to an injury in 23. He took over the remaining end of the season in 24. He started in a Red Bull, you got demoted, and then I was like, okay, you are no longer even considered a rookie. You've had 2.5.
Well, he's considered a rookie, but we don't consider him a rookie.
Well, yeah. But he's just, they've moved him around so much, and maybe that's not totally his fault too, but he's just not pulling what everybody he was supposed to be doing. He was supposed to be this golden boy to take over and really help Max and really help Yuki, and it's just not there. So
yeah,
that's why I had him in 19th.
I think that's kind of why I had him in 18th over the 19th. And again, this is similar to the Aston Martin. This could have gone either way. They have had similar seasons. One started in one seat, and then they swapped the seats. So they've kind of had similar showings in both their vehicles over that course of time. I will agree with you that I don't think it was Liam's fault that he did so shit in the Red Bull. I mean, he was kind of just thrown to the seat. I don't think he deserved the seat. I don't think he was ready for it. And so they kind of just threw him to the lion's den. I'm not making an excuse for him. But one of the reasons why I put Yuki so far down, not so far, but lower than Liam, is because he's been in that Red Bull system for so much longer.
Yeah.
He is driven in Red Bulls, even if it was in testing or whatever it was. He's had more experience there. He was begging for this seat. This is what he's wanted the whole time. He just couldn't, not that he even couldn't even just take hold of the reins. He fell flat.
Yeah.
He's not qualifying. He's not racing well. He's causing accidents. He's getting tense. I don't know what it is. But he is taking this where he's had this opportunity. He's had this experience already, and he's not capitalized on it. And so that's kind of why I put him a little bit lower than Liam, because he should be. We all expect him to be ahead.
Well, I just put him there because that's where he's been qualifying. I'm just kidding. Which actually he's been qualifying in like 20.
That's his starting position,
yeah. But no, I think what worries me for Yuki is we kind of mentioned it about Lando. He's been in Pierre. They've been in Formula One those 4 years longer or 5 years longer than their teammate. You've now moved up to the big boy seat, and you're not doing well there. What are the chances they're now going to actually bring you back when they've seen the new talent as well? So
and then this is also the largest disparity between teammates.
Yeah.
Now, granted, one of them is the Stakes where there are no points at all. But I mean, the only reason Red Bull's in fourth is because Max has gotten them all their points.
Yeah.
Save for 3 points or something like that, 6 points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, I think we were pretty close. A couple changes there, but let's go on to the teams. Which I think are going to be pretty obvious and probably don't need a lot of explanation, which we've talked about.
Maybe.
Okay.
Let's see.
All right, McLaren, number 1.
Yeah, McLaren. I mean, they took over from last. They started last year. They continued this year. They've got the best car. Their team seems the most cohesive, even though last year they started off as the least cohesive. Yeah. So, I mean, they've really turned it around. I think they've really, from last year. And I really think they've kind of figured it out, even when it starts to seem on the team radios that they're going to just blow it all up by these papaya rules and all this other bullshit. But it seems like the drivers have bought in and they understand. So, I mean, they have the best team.
Yeah, easily. I still, and I know we weren't doing I don't know, this was just like wishful thinking, which is weird because it's not even really my team, but I kept Red Bull in second. I don't know why, because really it is just Max.
You will be shocked. You'll be shocked where I have them. Yeah. They are not last, but you'll be shocked.
So I just, I mean, as an organization, they're not looking so great these days. But I do see that is even though it's one person, that's the fiercest competition that McLaren has, which is why I still had to keep them in second. Because even with only one driver, he's still kind of outperforming the other teams.
I will. Okay, well, I'll get into it when I get to Red Bull, but I don't think
Yeah.
I can remember that point. But yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, okay.
Okay.
You have
My number two is going to be Mercedes. I think they figured something out. I think they figured out their car. I think they've gotten their drivers in line again. They're winning race. Well, they have won a race. They won a race.
Yeah.
The Georgia won a race. They're getting two drivers consistently in the points. They are doing a great job in insulating Kimi and keeping his head on straight even when he does have a bad weekend. George, other than his issues with rain, or whatever he thinks is rain,
just weather.
Well, he has been okay. He hasn't been, he's just, like I said, been consistent. And I think the team has really kind of figured it out from last year. Now, I don't know if that was trying to placate Lewis so much and that the team was a little bit antsy on everything they did, but this year seems to be working out.
Yeah.
So I had them in second. To me, they're the best second best constructor.
I mean, as a team,
yes. As a team, we're talking about team performance.
I would say Mercedes is probably number two. I think in terms of competition, I still think it's Red Bull. But anyways, I had Mercedes in third. So pretty much for the exact same thing you just said. They're showing that they have kind of figured it out. Maybe this is a good pairing. We talked about it last week. It might not be the pairing for a long time for going forward, but their car seems to be working. This is probably the car that Lewis wanted them to have. But it is what it is. But yeah, so I had them in third, and again, pretty much for the exact same reasons.
For my third, I had Ferrari. Now, I think Fred Vasseur has gotten a lot of flack that he didn't deserve this year. And I think like I said, just because they're not winning, and we know the Italian media and the Italian fans, and whatever, I think that he's doing a decent job. I think the team is going in the right direction. They have kinks they have to figure out. But we saw that over 3 years with Mercedes, where they had to figure out those kinks. Now, everything gets thrown into a blender next year, so we don't know what it's going to be like next year. But I think they have probably the strongest driver pairing. Well, I think they're even with McLaren's. I would put them at evens. Just in their
the driver pairing,
talent and experience, I would think that would make them even with McLaren.
I would give them one more year of partnering. Like those, yes, team-wise, like on paper, Lewis is the best, and then you've got Charles that has the experience with Ferrari. Both good drivers. I think, and they're friends. We know before that they were friends. I think that teammate probably is still taking, and I think that happens with every teammate pairing. It takes a year to really.
Well, no, okay, so I'll give them second best team pairing. But and so I think that they just need a little bit, and they're back to the Ferrari of old. They're close, and the drivers are starting to pull out something. But I mean, enough to be in second. So
I have Ferrari in fourth, just because of nothing to do with the drivers. Ferrari strategy is just, and what, like I said at the beginning, how many years before we figure it out? Ferrari, like it can't be the strategists every year. It can't be the car. Like it's not the drivers. It's definitely not the drivers. So how many pit lane incidents are we going to have? How many mistakes of tires are we going to have? When are we going to start listening to the drivers? So that's why I have them in fourth.
Okay.
Fifth.
My fifth is going to shock you probably. Maybe. I don't know. I'll see what you got, but Racing Bulls. I have the Racing Bulls in fifth. I think I'll get to it. I think as a team, they've definitely been better than the Red Bulls. Okay. I think you have two cars that can compete. You also put two drivers that can compete in the same car. I think you have a team that actually has if we can somehow sever the umbilical cord between, well, obviously they've already separated Horner's umbilical cord, but even the Marco umbilical cord, they have a
Yeah.
team that's actually pretty cohesive.
Yeah.
Laurent Menkes, who's not there anymore, seems like a very communicative boss, and somebody who had a team that was going in the right direction. Now,
Yeah.
was it the best? Was it the best team? No. Was it ever going to be the best team? No. But they also consistently show that they can get both drivers running pretty well over a weekend. So I would put them when even over a weekend in any weekend, I would have them in that 5, 6, 7 spot somewhere usually. So that's why I had them, and they've had really good showings this year.
Okay. I mean, shocked, bewildered. I have Williams. I think James has just figured that car out, and it's just a matter of, I think, luck and pushing that car further and further every weekend, and those slight upgrades every weekend. Um, they're over the last 3 years, we've seen them go from 10th in the constructors to an 8th and then a 7th, and so I think they're very mostly Alex that we've seen so far, but they are giving the fight to the people that need it, and they're in these battles that they weren't in before. They are fighting a Mercedes, they are fighting a Ferrari, it might not be both. They're ahead of one Red Bull. So they're ahead of the Aston Martins.
Yeah.
Where they shouldn't be with the money and the engines that these cars have. So that's why I had them in 5th.
I have Williams at 6th.
For the same reasons.
So, yes.
Yeah.
I think he's done a great job. It really annoyed me. Was it two weekends ago, 3 weeks ago, where they had an accident and they were just worried they weren't going to have enough parts again, or
Yeah.
2 wings.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, learn your lesson. But they have probably the fastest, if I'm not mistaken, car on a straight. Maybe the McLarens, behind the McLarens. But when you build your car, to me, if you're building your car for one aspect of the race, and if you go into a race with only one DRS on one real straight, a proper straight, and there's not that many of them that have, like, well, there are like 1 or 2, but maybe sometimes 3. You're essentially, certain races you're just taking yourself out of the fight. If you don't have a car that can fight in the slow turns or the high turns, or you're just dependent on your straight line speed. Now it's working. It's working-ish, right? And I think they're still working toward fixing that and making it better. But yeah, you're right. I think they figured it out. They've done a good job at taking it from the worst car in the grid 2 years ago to where they are now.
Yeah.
And so that's why I kind of have them. Again, it's one of those things. Racing Bull and Williams are just there for me. Yeah. Both of them, right?
Yeah. 6th, I have Haas. That's another team that the principal has just made. Io Komatsu has just made really good decisions on drivers, what they've done to the car. He's got a rookie and he's got Ocon, and they're working together. You see them again, whether it's 9th and 10th, 14th and 15th. They're one of the cars that are the back of the grid there, but that they're together, which is good because that helps with fighting, and they kind of always been Kevin Magnussen, Hulk.
Scrappy,
yeah, but they're keeping it together, and their fights aren't with each other, which is odd, but odd that they're beside each other but not fighting each other. But yeah, so they've done really, really well over the last few years, and I think this year as well, like Ocon going over there has done a good job. Ollie Bierman, being a rookie, has done really well for being a rookie, in not the fastest car, but sometimes pulling out some really good timings on the car. So, Haas in 6th.
My 6 was Red Bull. That's where I have them. I think
Okay.
you can't win a championship with one car
No.
and not even the best car.
No.
If it was Max last year where he won 20 whatever 2 years ago where he won 22 out of 24
Two.
races,
Yeah.
22 no 20 21 out of 24 races because Checo won two and then Carlos won one. But
Yeah.
either way, regardless, unless you're doing that, which is never going to be done again,
No.
you can't win a championship. And it's a car right now that can't even fight for that one. You get into some of the later stages, and those McLarens are going to catch you,
Yeah.
especially if you have two of them still on the grid.
Yeah.
One of them's going to get you.
Yeah.
They can barely even qualify first anymore.
Yeah.
So and then when you have such a discrepancy between your 1 and your 19, and you've taken 12 races and there hasn't been an improvement in that second car, and then you have such a disjointed garage and a disjointed pit lane and media group and principals and CEOs and advisors, and it's a disaster of a team.
Yeah.
I struggled putting them as high as I did because I wanted to put them a little bit lower because I think it's just if it wasn't for Max getting the points that he did, it's
Yeah.
basically a dumpster fire at Red Bull
Yeah.
right now.
They'd be in 10th for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see it. I can see it. 7th, I had Alpine. Not because they've done anything fantastic. I just thought some of the people that I have in other positions, 8, 9, 10, are just not doing well. So I think that's just kind of where Alpine fell for me. They have one car that's doing really well, Pierre Gasly's car.
Yeah.
And then they have a hot mess in the other car. Where they're on their second driver. Yes, some of the mistakes have been Franco's fault, but some of the mistakes when Jack Doohan was there were his fault. So,
Yeah.
which is why they're on their second driver in the second car. But yeah, I mean they're there just because there was no other spot for me to put them. It's basically what it is. But yeah, so that's my 7th.
Okay, 7 I had Haas, largely for the same reasons you were saying.
Okay.
I just think they've been consistently, the both of them, kind of there together. Quietly getting a few points. They're creeping up in the back of the midfield there, which is millions of dollars for them. But Gene will take that all day.
Yeah.
And they've just consistently improved, and maybe it's the post Gunther era. I don't know what Ayu's doing differently, if he is doing anything differently, or if he had these things, or if Gunther had these things in place before he left and it's just taken over. Whatever. The driver pairing seems to work.
Yeah.
And like I said, they're Behrman's not Behrman. Ocon's kind of he's trying to change his driving style this year. A lot more maturity to that, and then Behrman's been one of the top performing rookies. So. Yeah, I think they've had a good season. That's why I have them in 7th.
Yeah. 8th, I have Aston Martin.
Same.
There's doing nothing. They're going in reverse. And listen, next year we're probably going to have Aston. Yeah, next year we are going to probably have Aston Martin in like second. That's the thought. If you have Newey working on a car with a Honda engine, that's my thought.
Well, they can't get much worse. So
no. So yeah, they're going backwards.
Yeah.
For a team that at one point was in the constructors in like third and fourth, they're just nowhere to be seen. So yeah, that's why I had them in 8th.
I'm not even going to expand on that. That was
okay.
Perfect. Yeah, that's exactly the truth.
Yeah.
Okay.
9, I have Steak F1, lime green.
Did you put the Racing Bulls last?
Yeah.
Okay, I know it.
I did.
Steak. Okay.
I have Steak, just because there's this slight progression, which I know you're going to argue this. Like, isn't Racing Bulls more progression? But anyways, yeah, I just. What was Steak? Steak was Renault. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, they were Renault, which at one point was great, went to shit, really. Um, and then they just have never really come back. And they're increasing a little bit. Little by little, I think, obviously, going to become Audi next year. Probably going to be a change there, but an improvement from last year of getting 1 point at the end of this season.
Yeah.
Literally the last race. To where they are now in this season, it's like night and day, even though they're only like 43 points, 41 points. It's just, and it's the most points that they've had in a season in the first 12 races, I think, since 2012, I think I read.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, good for them.
Yeah, good.
much needed. So yeah, I had them in slow and steady, increasing up the chart.
Okay. So my 9 was our other dumpster fire of a team. That's the Alpines. It just seems like they can't, like anything they do can't work or won't work.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Pierre Gasly having some flashes of brilliance this year, they'd probably be my dead last one. But going through the whole drama of the 5-race contract to another 5-race contract or whatever it was going to be. Oliver, whatever the hell his name was, just leaving the team abruptly like that. I forget what it is. Whiting? No, that's the Red Bull guy that left. Anyways, that was the Red Bull guy that left. Yeah. Anyways, whatever. Okay. It was Oliver something.
Yeah.
Him leaving abruptly, then giving all control to Briatore. We still don't know. I think they've got a team principal now, or I don't even know. It changes every day.
So messy.
There's no cohesiveness in this team. I don't know how Gasly's getting anything done, and I can see why his teammates aren't.
Especially being young rookies that like kind of need a direction. They need some sort of veteran. Yeah, and yes, Gasly's a veteran, but it's not like they're learning from a Lewis or they're learning from an Alonso, or it's someone who's also still young in the sport as well. So, and hasn't been on top teams either. So,
and if it wasn't for my last one, they would have been dead last. And it's only because the car's not a shitbox.
Yeah.
At least not as much of a shitbox as it was.
Yeah.
So that's
there's something in it. Yeah. So then I will give you my V carb.
Okay, well, I want to hear this last.
You go.
Okay. You've already done the stakes. I'll do my stakes.
Here.
Okay. The only reason I have them last, and I would have had them higher, I did have them higher originally, and then I changed it. They kind of just seem like they're coasting. They've had some good moments. Yeah. It just kind of seems like, especially this year, they're just, let's get to next year. Like they weren't expecting these points this year. They weren't definitely not expecting a podium, but they definitely weren't expecting to get over 40 points in a year.
No.
I think they were just like, let's get through without spending so much money this year. And then we'll start fresh with Audi. And regardless of what has happened, I feel like they're still going to go in that direction. I mean, they didn't even have champagne to celebrate with Nico. They had to get it borrowed from other teams. Well, clearly. So that's what I mean.
Not like in their budget.
That's why I had them last. And that's why they're ahead of the Alpines. It was almost like they gave up before the year even started. And they were just resigned to just coasting the rest of the year.
Yeah. Who's doing Audi's engines? Is it Audi?
It's Audi.
They're having Audi engines. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I don't know if their power unit is through Audi. I think it is. I believe their power unit is also Audi. Okay. But I could be wrong on that one.
So, yeah.
Because I know Alpine is going to a Mercedes power engine next year.
Yeah. I mean, it's not often that like a car company then gets another car company to do their engines, but I mean, it could happen. I just didn't know for sure.
McLaren is Mercedes engine.
True. That's true. Yeah,
and they build luxury sports cars.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. V carb. And I know this is not totally on. This is kind of a dig at Red Bull and Marco and Christian decision, because we know they have their hand in there when they shouldn't. because they should have their own principal, they should have their own CEO, whatever.
They have their own principal, but it's like a figurehead.
Yeah,
It's just a guy. It's like a marionette. Somebody with somebody's hand stuck up his ass.
Yeah. So like, yes, Liam and Hajar have been doing something. I just think it is and again, this is on the fault of Red Bull. It's just such a mess over there. This pulling of drivers from this one to go into the other car. The only thing is, like, they haven't touched Hajar yet, and I hope they don't for the rest of the season. I hope they let him finish
I hope not. Yeah.
In his V carb, and then if they want to move him after that, fine. But this middle of the season moves is just not working for them. Laurent Mekies, I think he might be good. I mean, we've heard him quite a bit the last couple weekends. Sounds like he knows what he's doing. I mean, he's obviously got the position. But even when we had Ricardo there, it was just a bit of a messy organization. And that seemed a lot more messy than Red Bull did, because I think Red Bull was winning, and, they were finishing.
You could hide the mess. You can sweep it under the rug. Just like sexual allegations.
Now I feel like they are still throwing the mess over to V-Carb. And they're just, other than Hajar, I just don't see them doing as much.
It'll be interesting to see how things go with if he's so hands-on or hands-off, Laurent Mekies.
Yes.
Of course, Marco's still there, so
yeah, he might be.
I mean, there's still that influence. But I feel like Laurent Mekies is someone who will delegate better instead of being so meddlesome and such a micromanager.
Yeah. Well, and I think now when you take out, Christian is involved with the driver academy for Red Bull. So Laurent wasn't. He came from other teams. Yeah. He was a principal in other areas so you saw Christian feeling bad for Daniel and the V-Carb. You see him feel bad for Yuki. He felt bad for Liam. So, as mean as it sounds, but it's like maybe having somebody that doesn't have that care for the drivers it's just like, you know what, no, we're not actually going to pull from there, we're going to get somebody new, and I think they need an overhaul, probably both sides. Let's be serious. I mean, Red Bull clearly has started their overhaul size, but yeah, I couldn't put them any higher. And I mean, they're kind of what you were saying about the stake. They're kind of coasting, other than Hajar. Hajar will qualify well. He'll get a couple of points. Liam, he's just fighting. Fighting people.
I think he's improved over the last couple.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyways.
That's it.
Yeah. That is and this is not our re-predictions. This is just where we're ranking people.
We're ranking people mid-season,
Yeah.
Just our rankings.
And yeah, but next week we are back with Spa, not the Spa, the race.
We're just gonna have we're gonna go to a spa.
Yeah, we could do the podcast from a spa. That'd be great.
From a mud bath.
Yeah. But yeah, we will be back next week again, maybe with some news updates, some drama. The race, obviously,
there will be more.
But
the race, always.
Yeah, the race for sure. But I'm sure there's going to be drama as we go into this new race week, and now everybody's going to be interviewing people again, and comments are going to be made, and all that fun stuff.
Oh yeah, Thursday media day is going to be just a circus.
Yeah. And they're going to ask Zach and Toto all about Christian all day.
Yeah.
All day long.
Yeah. So, I can't wait for Zach's reply.
Yeah, it'll be good. But we will see you guys back next week.
Yep. Grab it for a set.
Bye.